Hey guys, this is Vegetaman. Just wanted to briefly talk about these Shadowrun UGC maps that I made that I'm going to upload so anybody can use them in their UGC. Um, Basically made two, like most UGCs. Figure if I'm going to have a game, I need to have a safe house where I start my adventure. You get your first phone call from Mr. Johnson, and then a downtown map, and then you'll head off to a bar or a club or something. So on that front, so here's where I started out with a safe house. So here's where I started out with a safe house. Uh, First map I ever made was just a simple little test map where here's some corners and some lighting and some props and character spawners. But then I made this safe house map. In my first pass at it, I kind of mixed this indoor and outdoor tile set where you just walk directly from your inside your safe house to the outside world, and it really wasn't working. And like this obnoxious barricade wall was a terrible idea, so be careful of doing that. But I was really happy with stuff like the point lighting and these light fixtures and stuff like that. So I came back and just kind of made it a completely inside with this hallway that leads to an exit door. You can see on the right here I got a lot of interactable props. I like point and click adventure games, so I felt it'd be really neat to have props that you could interact with. Some of them just to give you fluff text to kind of put you in the setting. Some of them are only active if you have a certain, so like this basic bookshelf, if I check it, if the triggering actor's base conjuring level is greater than or equal to 1, then it's going to give you this spell. Now the mistake I made is it destroys the object on pickup. So when you pick it up, this bookshelf will disappear, or you have the same problem with this bookshelf down here. It gives the spell heal. So you'll end up with floating candelabras, or you pick up a spell and the bookshelf disappears. You don't really want to do that. But there's other ones like there's an interactable prop over here that's this coffin. So there's actually you investigate the area, and I run a trigger that says that you interacted with the visual prop block, so it's going to display the text, it's going to enable a new prop, and it's going to disable the one you just checked. And so then when you check that, just trying to play with how triggers work and things of that nature. Like, so here's a kitchen and a living area in your bedroom. Well, in the bedroom I have a computer, and I really liked how Dragonfall did the computer for missions and stuff, and added on like Shadowrun BBS, or Shadowland BBS. So I kind of did my own Shadowlands thing. And I can and likewise the try to add a proper amount of clutter to this safe house. My gripe is that, so like I really was pleased with how the clutter in some of these rooms turned out, but then like in the kitchen, it's too meticulously placed to look realistic. It's kind of arbitrary, like, oh, ammo crates and these boxes and this junk. It needs some work, but the idea is there. And like, so this point light here is for this wall fixture here. It's really kind of a pain to get point lighting to work correctly, but it's worth it because it will change how your scene looks. Like if I bounce back into here, you can see I got a lot of interactable props and just things. Some of them are just informational, some give you items, some are only available if your character meets certain criteria. Rather than having an NPC give you stuff, or just arbitrarily saying, would you like this, this, or this, you just kind of have to search around and find stuff. And there's I had some goals, like check your inbox was one of your goals, and explore your safe house, and then leave to go for the main mission. So let's swap maps over to the other one. So yeah, if we look at our downtown Seattle map here, and I'll crunch down the scene data, you can see we started, our actor spawner was up here. You got a lot of invisible blocks so your character doesn't like clip through these props and stuff, and some graffiti and different floor tiles and barricades. So here's our path for the Lone Star route where it walks back and forth and this way and that way. Just trying to, you know, add some interest to the scenery. Buildings that are closely similar with some modifications to them. You know, just trying to make it more interesting. And while using you want to use the least amount of new tiles possible to keep your, see my CPU and memory is getting to the danger zone here. I'm at yellow. But if you end up going too far past that, you'll end up with your maps load really slowly or things of that nature. So notice this is kind of in a pretty much a square. I had it more spread out originally, but in the interest of making it load faster and stuff, I kind of cut out some extra tiles I had and redid some of my buildings. I think I've got about 50 hours, maybe 60 between the two maps. A lot of that was learning to use the editor as well. Like here's my point lighting for my street lights and stuff. Royale Apartments. Use the monorail station as the reason that the road is closed down here, where the monorail looks like it fell through the street. I thought that worked pretty good. Added basically an industrial equipment yard here. I just took one of the dock cranes and just took all the pieces and just spread them out across the ground, as opposed to trying to do anything different. Over here we got some animated smokestacks. I wasn't really happy with how the roof of this building turned out. Definitely is important that you get the Z ordering right. So like, notice that if you click on that tile, that it shows that it's at the same area as this tile. Because if it's not, when the light hits it, the in-game light, it will look bad. You don't want that. So if you click on my, speaking of in-game light, if you find your camera object, you can scroll down and see, this is another critical thing, the ambient light color and directional light and light direction is very critical to how your overall scene looks. Like my outdoor scene is kind of a reddish tint and my indoor was kind of a blue. So yeah, things of that nature. I got my white path that kind of blocks characters and what they can see. I kind of played tricks with, you notice like there's a equipment yard in this corner, but you can only see like just the upper corner of it. Well, the shadow that's created when the character stands at the farthest vantage point he's got over here, that's all they can see. I'll move over there and show you that. So the character's best vantage point, you can barely make out the dumpster and what's hiding there and what's on the side of this building. It just kind of adds to the look and feel of the game, but you know, you don't have to end up drawing the rest of the map out, because that would be more texture usage. Well, if you use new textures. So, you know, just kind of keep that in mind as you're building your maps. Like from SNES Shadowrun, I took the idea of putting a cemetery down here. So you got a farmer's market and a club, and then you got a cemetery. All these are all animated like fire barrels and actor spawners and stuff around this farmer's market. Kind of a mishmash of tile sets to make this farmer's market. It looks kind of low end, thrown together. Stuffer Shack, I actually melded the Stuffer Shack front facade with a different industrial style building. I thought that worked out pretty well. Yeah, that's about it. So yeah, I'm going to upload these two maps so that anybody that wants to use them for their UGC can. I love playing UGC, just don't really have time to work on my own. So hopefully they get some use, and thanks for watching.